Next, Rhea also looking for a bit of a spot as we have them moving in. And Hyper, though, they're going to be shipped out as they will not make it past that 8th position. Royals of War, though, I've got to say, I'm quite impressed. They are still holding on to the top of Everest.
Yeah, the way they were able to actually recover from that. Keep in mind, they did have one player that ended up getting knocked there from 90s earlier on. They're fully able to defend the push that 90s was going to able to do, and now they've been able to reset, control a bit more of that area. Now they don't have to worry about anything that's going to be behind them or on the east side of the map. They're going to be fully focused on Team Falcons here, and they know Team Falcons is there because Team Falcons has been taking on fights with anybody that comes near their way. In Cook Gaming, they got some of it too from Team Falcons.
I mean, if you're in range distance, Falcons, they're going to try and get the play down on you. Speaking of which, though, it is going to be Furia also trying to just inch their way on through. And I mean, this is such a difficult shift. We got Team Liquid also making their play, moving up from the north, but you can see all the shots just aiming down on towards them. Icy, letting one loose, knocking on the door. Are they going to find it? No, fortunately for Royals of War. I mean, the ridge is really working out in their favor.
It is, but this is going to be a completely different animal. I feel like I'm having deja vu here, DK. We saw a fight like that earlier for Royals of War between 9Cs, but now it's going to be Team Falcons, and Team Falcons, we know what they can do if they do end up getting one of their players knocked for Royals of War. So they need to be careful. They need to make sure they back off a little bit more and let the Ridge take all of those grenades that's currently being thrown to them. Furia being able to get Mythic there from Team Liquid. That's going to be massive considering that they were really aware of where that player was going to be. And now we're just switching. There's so much action going on. You got nirzed as well taking on some fights there and being able to steal the elimination there from Furia.
I mean, it's go time, right? We are all the way up in stage 6, about to meet the end of it. And Royals of War holding steady. Falcon starting to get a little bit unrestless up on the top here. I love that push coming through from nirzed, also just trying to play a different angle further down the hillside. But Furia, I'm curious to see what they're going to move, what move rather they're going to be doing coming into this next phase.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. Whichever move it ends up being, it's going to end up being tough. Luckily for them, they kind of have a bit of a buffer between Team Falcons and Royals of War being at the top, kind of looking out for each other, that they're not able to over peak and maybe take some shots on them, as nirzed does end up getting knocked, and now he's going to end up getting eliminated. You know what? He doesn't. This is what I was talking about. They need to be careful with Team Furia, and guess what? He ends up being Team Liquid that ends up getting peaked and third party in a way from Team Falcons, and now Furia making that push. You were asking what they were going to do. This is what they're going to do. They're going to push on Team Liquid and make sure they eliminate them.
They come in with the brooms, right? They're just going to be sweeping it up. But let's see now. Icy and the rest of the Falcons still holding nice and steady, way, way up high. Inco also being brought down to a one piece, right? It's up to Vitale. But as we saw on the qualifiers, Vitale, definitely a super, super capable player here. Now the pressure is on still. Royals of War, they've now been able to secure themselves 4 eliminations, and they've not really had to move a muscle for the past few phases. So hopefully phase 7 will definitely bring a lot of that change along with it.
It definitely could, and I think another change that we're going to be seeing, and we got to keep an eye on as we got a chance to see them earlier, is going to be Choco from 9Cs. I mean, I feel like these teams might have just forgotten that he was even part of the fight earlier with everything that's going on for Royals of War, and Team Falcons might not even be fully aware that he's still alive. Choco could possibly end up surprising some of these teams. I'm not going to say he's going to end up winning the match, even though if it does end up happening, that'll be kind of fun to see. But he could maybe steal some eliminations or mess up a fight that could engage here pretty soon between Team Falcons and Royals of War.
Well, I can tell you the Falcons are definitely going to make that quite challenging for Choco to pull off. So, I mean, if Choco gets it, that would be a very well-deserved winner chicken dinner. But first up, well, you got to deal with the Falcons up top here. They just moving about, trying to see what angles they can find. And Vitale could definitely be in quite a tricky place. Yes, indeed, they are, as Inco also gets sent on away. Down to the final 4 we go. Falcons, though, 7 all the way up to 11 eliminations.
And this is great control out of them, honestly. The way they're being able to just back up, let those... We talked about Royals of War earlier, being able to let the Ridge take care of all the nades that were being thrown. Guess what? Team Falcons is now being able to be aware of where everybody's currently be rotating below them. They have that high ground advantage. They don't necessarily have to worry that much about Royals of War until the fight actually begins. And this is just well played out of them and keeping consistent pressure here on Worlds of War 2. Worlds of War trying to make a push here, getting a little bit closer. But guess what? Action has so many nades to go as he's able to connect there with 2. And now he's going to make that switch. You can see it right away. He wants to make sure he collects as much eliminations as possible and sends a statement as Team Falcons are now the ones on top when it comes down to Everest.
I mean, they are reclaiming territory like it's no one's business, but still, we got Choco hanging in the wing as we do say goodbye to the Royals of Warsaw. I mean, you were talking about it earlier, right? Choco maybe winning this one out. I think Choco has a really good chance to even make it up into the top 2, but that is going to be heavily dependent on the next push that comes through here from Furia, right? Are they going to try and maybe get themselves positioned up on the high ground, or are they just going to stick to these ridges?
Yeah, and I think for 9Cs right now, it's going to be a win for them regardless, because they're going to be able to just play with Choco being able to be in the top 3 minimum. That's going to be some massive placement points for this team, considering that they ended up with just, what was it, 5 eliminations, 11th place when we went to Sandhawk. So a much, much better contrast here in regards to them. Not maybe in regards to eliminations, but in regards to placement points. As Team Falcons taking some shots there to Furia. Furia currently being able to survive somehow. There you go. The car ends up exploding, and Team Falcons are going to go a bit on the aggressive there. And you know what? We've been hinting at it. At what point does Choco decide to be... Maybe now is the time I start engaging with you guys. Maybe now is the time where I try to see what's actually going on and get out of my cave and try to take some shots, get some eliminations, and get some extra points for my team.
I mean, and it almost looks like Choco is just sitting back, sipping his latte, you know, waiting for everybody to kind of settle everything for them. And I mean, looking at this push coming through from Icy down on towards Adrian, this could be very well be that opportunity. But Adrian just locking in them sprays. Oh, down they go. And this is Choco now springing into action.
Second place now. He's going to be able to possibly third party this. Let's see where the circle. I mean, he's still within the circle too. He's going to be able to spot one. He needs to be able to hit those shots. He's able to hit them, but not long enough. Can he maybe get at least one elimination? He's going to forget that there's a lot of teams and players. He's not able to convert. That knocked into a full elimination there for Choco, but a second place. And guess what? Surprise, surprise. Team Falcons gets the win in the first airing game.